Hello everyone, this is Gabriela Batres Salinas and I'm going to be your host for this podcast called Exploring New Places. This podcast will talk about all the places that one wonders and thinks about going. We will explore new destinations, local, out of state, and foreign, of where to travel to. Many of the destinations will be about the places that are often overlooked or not considered because people go to the same usual places that are most popular. Here, we will explore popular and unpopular destinations. You might ask, what exactly are you going to talk about? And to answer that question, I will be talking about the destinations, food, culture, activities, restaurants, and people. This podcast is perfect for people that are curious and want to learn a little bit of everything. Therefore, I will try to explain everything that one may be interested when visiting the destinations. Let's get right into it. Welcome back, everybody. Today we'll be talking about Arches National Park, located in Moab, Utah. This week's destination is a very beautiful and iconic when it comes to national park in the United States. This is truly a one-of-a-kind national park because of the geological facts about the rocks and how this park was naturally formed. I will say though that some of the things that were mentioned on the last episode apply here too. For example, the ticket fees per vehicle apply here, as well as what kind of clothing that you need to wear for the hikes. But don't worry, I will mention it again on this episode very briefly for your convenience. But if you want to know more about what to pack before going to these national parks, then I recommend you listen to our episode called Zion National Park Visit, where I tell you more in depth about all of this. Anyway, I'm so excited about this episode because I still cannot believe I did one of the most iconic hikes in the US. And that's totally my opinion, but I don't know if that's true, but I like to think so. I will talk more about this in a bit to tell you the name of the hike that I did. As always, let me start by telling you a little bit about the history of this park and how it became a national park. According to the National Park Service website, 700 years ago, Native Americans used to reside in this area of what is now known as Arches National Park. They used to farm in the area food like squash and beans. And when you visit this park, you can still find petroglyphs from the Native Americans who lived here. But remember, don't touch them. And if you want to know why, listen to Zion National Park Visit. Okay, so in 1898, there were a few settlers who moved from Ohio to live here for a few years. The name of the man who moved here with his son was John Wesley Wolfe. In the park, you can find one cabin who used to be the home of this man and some of his family members who decided to move in with him a few years later after he arrived here. This cabin is now known as Wolfe's Cabin. It's easy to spot once you're on the hike, and when you see it up close, you'll be amazed by the fact that 6 people used to live in that cabin. It's a one-room cabin and a very humble home that most people see before completing the trail in which you can find it. On April 12, 1929, President Herbert Hoover signed a presidential proclamation which established Arches National Monument. But it was not until November 12th of 1971 that President Nixon changed the name from National Monument to a national park. Now, if you're wondering how this park formed, let me tell you that you can learn more about this at the Visitor Center. You can find geological information about this park and how it is believed to have formed. What I learned while I was there was that Arches National Park, its sandstones were created by the sea filling up and drying up this place 29 times. And this was 15 million years ago, so it was a long time ago. But the water left residues of 5,000 feet of sand after drying up. These, with time, formed rocks, and erosion made the rocks look how they look now. So what I mean by that is the arches. Now, all the origins of these rocks, not all of them can be explained, but geologists have concluded that acidic rain, carbon dioxide, and the water of the ocean helped form the rocks of Arches National Park. And did you know that there are more than 2,000 arches in this park? Arches National Park is very unique because these arches may fall apart at some time and at any point. Therefore, the very fact that you can go see for yourself these arches before they fall apart is special. There have been a few arches that no longer exist due to the rocks falling. When you go to this national park, take time to go to a visitor center and see a small movie at their movie theater where you can learn more about the park, the arches, the natural process that took to create what the park is now, and how the ecosystem works. This movie that I'm recommending to you is 100% free. You do not have to pay anything extra to see it, and it's convenient because you become informed about this national park. It's so cool to learn about this park, the biodiversity and geological facts that this park has. Now, when you go to this park, it's a great decision to stay at downtown Moab, where you can find many hotels for you to choose from and, to stay in a comfortable place. Restaurants, shops, rental shops are all in walking distance, so you can walk around and explore new places. You won't be the only one because a lot of people walk around to the restaurants and ice cream shops. The views of this place are so beautiful and very red. My recommendation for a hotel is called the Adventure Inn in Moab. The rooms are comfortable. You have, your assigned parking in front of your room. There's Wi-Fi, free breakfast, complimentary coffee, tea, and hot chocolate all day long. There's a barbecue area for you to grill your food if you like, a coin-operated laundry for guests, free ice, and most importantly, the staff are super kind and happy to help you with whatever you need. This inn is within walking distance to the shops that I mentioned, and it's so cozy at night. They have an outside seating area with hanging lights, which makes it feel very relaxing and just really cozy. I had an amazing experience here, and I would 100% recommend staying here. Like I mentioned on our last episode, when planning your trip and packing, make sure you check the weather to see what clothing is appropriate for you to be comfortable. Bring a first aid kit just in case anything happens, like blisters or minor cuts. Bring sunscreen, snacks, lots of water, hiking shoes, and check the NPS app for any updates that are relevant to your visit. Entrance tickets can be paid online prior to your visit. It's $30 per vehicle, and it includes all people within the vehicle. Or you could pay $15 per person if you don't want to go in your vehicle. What I didn't know was that the ticket is good to use for 7 days, meaning that you can come in and out and come back the next day and they won't charge you extra for it. So it's great. You can take your time exploring this national park. Oh yes, if you don't pay prior to going and instead you pay on the day of your visit, a ranger will give you a map of the park to decide where you want to go. A difference from Zion National Park is that Arches National Park does not have shuttles to take you from A to B. So you will need your car to visit and explore this park. Do keep in mind that there are some parts of this park where you will not have access to your phone service. So it's wise for you to keep the map that they give you at the entrance. Another difference is that this park does not have restaurants inside it, which is great, but I'm letting you know just in case you were wondering that. Before I forget, I'll tell you that you are not allowed to bring pets, bicycles or motorcycles on the trail. So, yep, FYI. Now, when it comes to hikes, I did 3 hikes in a day while I visited. I did the iconic Delicate Arch Trail and the Sand Dune and Broke Arch Trail. My favorite trails were all 3. Each one of them was so unique that I cannot decide which one is my favorite one. However, the most challenging for me was the Delicate Arch Trail because of its elevation. The Delicate Arch Trail is only 1.5 miles long each way, so going up and going down. So, not very challenging, you would think, but the elevation is 480 feet and it's all uphill going up and it's all downhill going down. Oh my God, that was so badly explained, but we'll explain at the same time because there are some parts that are very steep or narrow and you have to watch out for that. Although I have to say that the views are incredible as always. I mean, with elevation, oftentimes comes great views. Anyway, it is a must when visiting this park. I went during the springtime, so it wasn't too hot to go up and down. And they do advise that if it's too hot, do not attempt to hike this trail because people have passed out due to the lack of water. There's no shade whatsoever when hiking this trail, so be prepared. I went in March and the weather was perfect for hiking. You would only get hot because of the walking that you're doing, but not really so much because the sun was too strong. So it was good weather. This trail is so worth it because at the end, when you reach the arch, you can see basically the arch that is in every single vehicle in Utah. And it's really cool to see it in person. It looks fake, but it's not. What I did not expect was that you need to go a little extra for you to be under the arch, which some people do. I did not do it because I got vertigo on the hike. And safety first, people, safety first. So I did not do it. And yeah, I thought that you could, after the hike, you would see the arch. But no, you have to walk a little bit on the rock and it's really high. I mean, the elevation. I mean, I saw a bird flying next to me. I mean, that's high. If you see that, I don't think, just be safe. Anyway, yeah, I got vertigo on that, so I did not go under the arch. And a lot of people do. A lot of families do. I saw a lot of families with children and with babies. But yeah, I did enjoy it though. Very unique and special and different from any other hike. It is an exercise going uphill and downhill. It's a good leg workout, but take your time. And if you have bad knees, I wouldn't recommend doing this hike because it is very steep. My other favorite trail was the sand dunes because the sand is so soft, unlike the beach. The sand was very red too. This is a very small walk with only 0.5 miles, but so worth it to do it because you get to see the big red rocks from up close. You're really close to the rocks and it's really cool to see the sand too. It's just so different. I liked each hike because they were so different from each other and I cannot compare one to the other because that would be unfair. Each one is really different and it's really unique and it's really beautiful, and I would recommend to do all of them. Some are easier than others, and yeah, it's great to have a good time. There's one that I did not have time to do, which was the balanced rock trail, but that's good because that gives me an excuse to go back and do it and visit the park again. So yeah, but I'm looking forward to doing that one day in the near future. But now it's time for 3 fun facts about Arches National Park. Number 1, there are 483 species of plants in this park. Number 2, there are 186 species of birds in this park. Number 3, this park consists of 76,519 acres. So this is a big national park. So yeah, you can explore a lot and the scenery is beautiful. I really recommend for you to go to this national park. As always, thank you so much for tuning in today and taking a little bit of your valuable time to listen to Exploring New Places podcast. Don't forget to share this podcast and episode with your family and friends. It helps us grow to become a bigger traveling community. Follow us on our social media. Our Instagram is @exploringnewplaces_podcast and our Facebook is @exploringnewplacespodcast. Remember that new episodes become available every other Friday at 7 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Do check our social media channels as I will be uploading some of the videos and photos I took while visiting Arches National Park. Now we conclude. Until next time.